You are watching St. Joseph Mustangs baseball here on YouTube. We are coming to you live from historic Phil Welch Stadium in St. Joseph, Missouri for a MINK League matchup between your St. Joseph Mustangs and the visiting Jefferson City Renegades. We welcome you inside our booth here tonight. I'm Truman Griessel. Alongside me tonight, Jackson Phelps. And Jackson, the Mustangs off their first loss of the season last night, but it wasn't a MINK League game, and when it comes down to the end of the season, those are the games that the Mustangs need to win.
And 100%, back into the MINK League play tonight against the Jefferson City Renegades. Got the win over the Nevada Griffins last week, Truman, in an impressive batting and base running, but that was not the case last night. A little bit slow on the bats, only 4 hits, 1 earned run for the Mustangs last night. Just trying to continue to get those bats hot. But the pitching last night, been the predominant factor all season long. They did their job, just were not able to get the job done last night on the bats or the base paths as it ended in a pickle for Jack Mosh.
Yeah, and sometimes they just say baseball. That's baseball. That hitting will come, but so far the Mustangs pitching, like you said, out to a hot start. Landon Reith will get the start tonight. His first start of the season. In his one appearance, he has been very good as the Mustangs will look to take down their rivals from Jeff City here in the MINK League here tonight. Starters being announced with National Anthem coming up next. First pitch just a few minutes away here on YouTube.
Nice.
Hot mic, hot mic, hot mic, hot mic. Every mic is always hot. Yeah, damn. I guess, are you going to be running that? Is your brother coming back, or?
Am I too far over left, or do you want me to go back over a little bit right to the right? Okay. Nice job.
Yeah.
Here we go, baby. Game 5?
Yeah.
Game 5.
iPad's a little delayed in terms of visual, but. I'm going to turn this back up, but turn the crowd up, so just don't say anything. Hot mic.
Minnesota State Mankato, number 2, Logan Miller. Baseball Renegades, Trenton Warriors.
So we get a look at our starting pitcher here tonight for your Mustangs. Landon Reith gets his first start of the season in his Mustangs uniform. Had 1 inning already last Wednesday in their opening game. Struck out all 3 batters he faced. Last year he did make 5 starts, was 1-1 in 26 1/3 innings. 32 strikeouts to 14 walks, a 9.57 ERA. But so far, Jackson, in his one small sample size, Reith was very good.
Reith was very good, striking all 3 batters out last Wednesday in the first game of the season. He definitely showed out why the Mustangs bullpen had a very big factor into these games, but finally getting his chance to start, like you mentioned, got a surplus of starts last year. A really solid pitcher, and this is a type of guy in the second MINK league that, the Mustangs can really rely on. You can rely on to get those strikeouts, put the velocity on these Renegade hitters, and ultimately just play smart with where he's plating these pitches tonight, and hopes to get back into the win column. Last night, a tough loss for the Mustangs, but Reith is the type of guy that you can rely on to get a team back juiced up, not only on the defensive side, but in the dugout. Getting good innings on the mound translates to those bats usually.
Now we get a look at the starting lineup for the Jeff City Renegades. Maddox Meyer in the leadoff spot, Dane Gray in the 2-hole. A.J. Evans, the right fielder, is in the 3-hole. Will Bachman will bat cleanup. Jacob Hornschmeyer at the DH and batting 5th. Connor Fleeg 6th. P.J. Green 7th. Alex DiGiacinto and Ben Miller round out this Renegade lineup here. That will face the lefty throwing Reith. As we're ready to get going here at Phil Welch. Mustangs wearing their special City Connect uniforms tonight. The black tops with the red and white STJ over the front and the white and red trim. Renegades in their road navy blues with yellow trim and gray pants, as the first pitch of tonight is swung on and fouled off by Maddox Meyer. Meyer so far on the season appeared in 1 game, had 1 hit and 5 ABs.
Reith doing a good job, back-to-back fastballs, 2 strikes on the count here in this first leadoff batter. Mustangs did a good job last night attacking at those leadoff batters pretty quick.
And the first batter of the game goes quickly on 3 pitches for Reith. A quick 3-pitch strikeout to start tonight for the Mustangs.
Like we saw on Wednesday, just really attacking that fastball, that time on the outside half. Reith doing a really good job keeping the Renegades hitters kind of testing him. Looking for that off speed. He was a little late on the fastball. He was trying to sit back, try and find an off speed, but Reith did a good job. 3-pitch strikeout to start the game.
Dane Gray bats in the 2-hole. Also 1 for 5 to start this young season. Renegades come in 2-1. All 3 of those games have been in MINK League play. Your Mustangs are 3-1 and 1-0 in MINK League play. Their lone win coming last Saturday against the Nevada Griffins. Breaking ball drops in on that inside corner. And Reith's got Gray down 1-2 in the count.
Nice off speed, wanting to sit it inside. Did just that, cut at the right time. Another 2-strike count back-to-back here for Reith.
Gray will enter his sophomore season at Jefferson College as that 2-strike swing just kind of slaps it down the right field line into right field for the first base hit of the night and gives the Renegades a 1-out base runner.
Gray's second hit of the season did a great job. Another outside fastball from Reith. Did a good job keeping the hands outside over the ball and took it right to Freeman and right. And Renegades now quick base runner here in the first.
Austin Evans now steps in the 3-hole. Evans so far on this young season 0 for 2. Just 1 game played. 1-0 offering to Evans. Upstairs now 2-0 off. Austin Evans now way ahead here on Reith. Now 3-0 as Evans grows far ahead. See if Evans has the green light here. He does not, and he takes a fastball right down the middle for strike one.
Reith getting right back, another 3-0. First time he was in a hitter's count. Did a good job just putting it right down the middle, and 3-1 now for Evans. Looking for a green light situation.
Count now runs full. Evans committed to Jefferson College from Ashland, Missouri, the 6', 195-pound outfielder. Runner takes off. Evans flares that one out to shallow center. Out is Bodenhausen, makes the grab. Will now try to double up at first, but the throw is offline. But the Mustangs get an out, and the second out of the inning on the pop-up to Truman Bodenhausen.
Bodenhausen doing a good job. Out, he had McCollum coming in, shading in from center field, but Bodenhausen doing a nice job over the shoulder type of catch there. Almost had the double play at first, but a great effort. Bodenhausen made a couple great plays last night as the whole defense was on fire for the Mustangs just last night, but another good play by the Mustangs and Bodenhausen.
Several nice plays, including a pair from right fielder Darius Freeman head towards that right field line. Made a couple of nice sliding grabs as Will Bachman, playing first base tonight for the Renegades, fouls off the first pitch and bats in the cleanup hole. Bachman was 0 for 5 in the only game he's played in thus far this season. That one will go off of Bachman's foot and will be a hit by pitch. Parker Griffith wasn't sure where that ball went at first as Gray was looking around second and maybe take third.
And in that situation, you're right, he was rounding third there was Gray, and Griffith just wanted to make sure, if trying to keep a runner 90 feet away from home to start the game. 2 outs though for Reith. Brings up Horschmeyer, who had a day yesterday, 3 for 4, 2 RBIs.
Hornschmeyer gets the DHing duties here tonight for the Renegades. He takes one a little too close for comfort, now 2-0. Hornschmeyer, one of 9 players returning to this Renegades roster from last summer. Appeared in 19 games last summer for Jefferson City. Had 47 at-bats, 13 hits. All 13 were singles, as he only drove in 2. Also had 9 walks. Batted .277 and now looks to step into more high-profile role here this summer for the Renegades. (3-1) from Reith. Check swing. And he did go around, and now the count will be full. Both runners will be in motion. On the full count offering here with 2 outs in the top of the first.
Reith doing a good job there, 3-1. Wasn't afraid to attack the zone on Horschmeyer. One of the better hitters on the team now, a full count. See what he attacks with.
He swings and misses, and Reith gets out of the jam here in the first. A hit and 2 runners left for the Renegades, but no runs across, as your Mustangs will be coming up here in the bottom of the first as you're watching St. Joseph Mustangs baseball here on YouTube. Bottom of the first here at Phil Welch. Renegades left a couple men on base as we get a look at the Renegades starter here tonight. Tanner Graham from Columbia Hickman High School, committed to Evansville, gets his first start of the summer here for Jeff City. Logan Miller will be the first one to greet him. Miller, 2 for 8 on his season, has a walk and scored 2 runs. Both of those hits were in last night's 2-1 loss. Check swings the first pitch, easy grounder to Bachman at first, and 1 pitch, 1 out for Graham. So now we take a look at your Mustangs lineup here tonight. Miller in the leadoff spot. Trevor McCollum has made his place in the 2-hole. Darius Freeman in the 3-hole. Dom Felix after the night off yesterday in the cleanup spot. Then it'll be Jack Mosh, Chris Coy, Justin George, and Parker Griffith. And Truman Bodenhausen to round out your Mustangs Thursday night lineup. Trevor McCollum steps in now. McCollum 2 for 8 on his season, has also walked twice. He has scored a run, drove in a run, and stole a base this young summer. McCollum, one of 8 returning hitters for the Mustangs here in 2025, as he lines one on a short hop that gets past Gray at short into shallow left field for the first hit of the night for the Mustangs.
Yeah, McCollum doing a good job taking the inside pitch right off the barrel onto the shortstop side. Gray just couldn't get a hand on it. A mean hop off the dirt. And McCollum finds the first hit for the Mustangs a lot faster than last night, Truman. Last hit for the Mustangs last night came back in the 3rd inning, so the Mustangs doing it early here, bringing up Freeman.
Wicked hop got the best of Gray, who chose to not charge it, instead play for the short hop, and it ate him up. Darius Freeman now steps in and fouls off the first pitch he sees. Freeman 1 for 8, got his first hit of the season last night. He's also had 3 walks, stolen a base, and scored a run. There goes McCollum for second. Throw is on the money. What a throw there from Miller to gun down McCollum.
What a throw there from Ben Midler down there. Over to short. Catching that was Gray and put down the good tag. Looked like McCollum trying to do a little swim move action to try and avoid the tag, but a good second out.
Graham now ahead of Freeman 1 and 2 here. Freeman an all-MINK first-team selection last summer. So far off to a slow start, but looking to turn around. Central Methodist University attendee. He hit .327 last summer, 48 hits and 147 ABs. Had 11 doubles, 3 triples, 2 homers, drove in 31. Was also 25 for 28 on the base paths. That pitch skied right center field and deep, and that'll one-hop the wall. Freeman takes the turn. He's going to dig for third. Throw in, not in time, and it's a 2-out triple for Darius Freeman.
What a swing put on there from Freeman. Was trailing the wall, and a nice 1-hop gave Freeman the extra bases and some juice. And he had the turbos on. He was thinking 3 the whole way, Truman. He wasn't stopping for second for nobody. And the Mustangs with just a runner 90 feet away.
First extra base hit of the season for Freeman, and now it brings up Dom Felix with a chance to drive in the first run of the night. First pitch taken high upstairs from Felix. Felix last night was 0 for 2 with 2 walks. Was pinch ran for by Jack Mosh in the 9th, who ended up getting picked off to end last night's game. He's played in 3 of the 4 games so far this summer. This is his 4th start. He got last Saturday off against the Nevada Griffins. He now lines one into left field past the outstretched glove of Stjosephmustangs. Freeman scores, and it's 1-0 Mustangs here in the first.
Bats are coming alive for the Mustangs. Just 4 hits yesterday. Now have half of that here just in the first. Here in their second MINK League game, Felix doing a good job. Another inside pitch taken off the barrel. Just missing. Stjosephmustangs over at third, and the Mustangs with an early run here in the bottom of the first.
Jack Mosh in the 5-hole tonight, get the DHing duties. Came into pinch run, like I said, for Felix. He swings at the first pitch. High pop into the sky. Gray near third base, just into the shallow left field grass to make the grab. But not before the Mustangs strike first after the 2-out triple from Freeman. Dom Felix drives him in with a line drive single to left. We head to the second. Your Mustangs lead 1-0. Top of the second, Mustangs strike first with a 2-out RBI single from Dom Felix. We get a look tonight at your Mustangs defensive lineup. In the outfield from left to right, it's Logan Miller, Trevor McCollum, and Darius Freeman. Around the horn in the infield, Dom Felix, Chris Coy, Truman Bodenhausen, and Justin George. And then your battery tonight is Landon Reith and Parker Griffith.
Solid defense. We saw good plays like you mentioned. To mention, like you said, Truman last inning, Darius Freeman, 2 great plays out and right. Bodenhausen with some nice plays. Gundelfinger had a nice play at shortstop. He's taken the night off, and Coy is back. Coy actually got to appear pitching, but he's back at his regular shortstop duties tonight.
Connor Fleeg, second baseman, steps in to lead off the second for the Renegades. Renegades had 2 on with 2 out, but couldn't capitalize in the top of the first. Fleeg about to enter his sophomore year at Drury. Originally from St. Louis, Missouri. Made his way down to Springfield. Appeared in 34 games last year, had 27 hits and 102 at-bats. Didn't want to go around on that breaking ball, but he does.
Nice breaking ball there. From Reith to Fleeg is looking like it was going to be going inside, but Fleeg almost had no other choice there with the way he was wanting to approach that. A nice strike from Reith.
Fleeg 0 for 2, but had 4 walks, scored 2 runs, and drove in a run in his only start so far this season. Now the count runs full. Fleeg had 6 doubles of his 27 hits last summer. And he works a leadoff walk here in the second. Now brings up PJ Green from the University of Missouri. One of the rare two-way players left in this college and professional age of baseball. Originally from Tyrone, Georgia. Playing center field tonight. He cuts on the first pitch and lines it into right field for a base hit, taking the turn and heading for third and getting in there easily will be Fleeg, and the Renegades are threatening here in the top of the second.
PJ Green, the man from Mizzou, took the outside pitch, just laid it up in front of Freeman, and now runners on the corners with no outs here, looking to tie this ball game up at 1 apiece.
Alex DiGiacinto in the 8-hole tonight and playing in the hot corner. Has a chance to tie this game and maybe more. 1 for 4 in his only start of the season. Had an RBI and also drew a walk. He fouls the first pitch back from Reith. But if it's anything, Jackson, we've seen plenty of Mustangs pitchers pitch out of their own jams. Reith trying to muster up some of that magic.
Muster up some of that magic indeed. They're playing confident here to start the first couple of games.
There's a breaking ball swung on. Reith is going to come home, and Fleeg is easily going to be out. Risky gamble taken by Fleeg, but calm and composed was Reith to Griffith for the first out of the top of the second.
Nice play there from Reith. He had some options, but realized coming home was Fleeg and had an easy out, and Griffith laid down the nice tag. Now 1 out. Still a runner in scoring position with Green at second. But nonetheless, a little bit of breathing room for Reith here. Just like you were talking about getting out of that jam.
Now Ben Miller steps in, 0 for 5. Did have a run scored and was hit by a pitch in his only start up to date for Jeff City. Miller from Jeff City, Missouri, committed to Missouri Southern University down in Joplin. So he takes low, ball 1. Mustangs still threatening here with 2 runners on and only 1 away here in the top of the second.
Nice inside pitch there from Reith, down 2-0. Just wanting to work those corners a little bit more with the fastball there on the inside half. He's been kind of spreading out those pitches across the zone. We'll have to see if he wants to continue the inside.
Goes to the outside this time, and it misses just above the belt. And now 3-1 with Maddox Meyer in the top of the Renegades order standing on deck. Miller in his first summer with the Renegades will take a 1-out walk, and that loads the bases now for Maddox Meyer.
One out, Griffith is going to give a talk to his pitcher saying, hey, we trust you. Had a good first inning there, 2 strikeouts, just trying to get himself out of that jam like you mentioned, Truman. Still has the double play ball in commission here for the Mustangs, so not too much to worry about. Just got to take care. You're back at the top of the lineup with Meyer. He struck out swinging last in the first.
Maddox Meyer in his first summer. Just finished up his freshman year at William Jewell University, originally from St. Charles, Missouri. 0 for 1, he struck out to start the game. Now just looking to put a ball into the outfield and try and score a run. Reith back into the windup. A nasty changeup is just waved on and missed from Meyer. It was a quick 3-pitch strikeout to retire Maddox in the top of the first. Now it's quickly down 0-2 yet again.
Love seeing Reith keeping the confidence here with the bases loaded. Not afraid to keep it across the zone here for Meyer. Now got him down 0-2 here with 1 out. Big at-bat here for Reith.
Reith did have 14 walks in 26 and a third innings. Has 2 in this inning. And already his third free pass here through an inning and a third as he hit a batter in the first. Meyer doesn't offer at the breaking ball in the dirt. Now count evens at 2-2. Two from Reith. Swung on and missed. Reith gets Meyer swinging for the second out of the inning. A huge strikeout from Landon Reith.
And huge is a big point there, Truman. Still bases loaded, but 2 outs now. Reith making both plays happen for himself in the defense. Had the play at home and got the strikeout here on Meyer. His second strikeout on Meyer of the day in the first 2 innings of work. See if he can get himself out of this jam with no runs allowed.
Dane Gray 1 for 1. He singled in the first. Lunges at a breaking ball and lines it into left field. 1 run scores. Here comes Stjosephmustangs, no throw. And the Renegades get themselves a 2-out, 2-run scoring single from Dane Gray.
What an at-bat from Dane Gray. Second hit here in the second inning in the game. Same thing, took it over to third base, just past the glove of Felix, and 2-run score. And they open up this lead for the Renegades' first time here in the game, leading 2-1.
Now it'll be Austin Evans, 0 for 1, popped out to Bodenhausen in shallow center, his first time up. Reith made a good pitch to Gray, but Gray just got the barrel on that breaking ball and split that 5-6 hole between Felix and Coy. That 0-1, ripped foul, and a nice catch made down the right field line by a fan. Always got to bring your glove to a ball game. You never know what might happen.
You never know, right there on the line, and a nice catch. If this was banana ball, and that would be ending out, but here for the Mustangs, 0-2 count for Reith.
Reith did give up 28 runs in those 26 and a third innings last summer. Still ahead of Evans here, 1-2. Another breaking ball in the dirt, now 2-2.
Renegades these first 2 innings doing a really good job staying patient at the plate. Haven't been really going after anything too far outside their zone and taking the ones they can get for hits and playing really smart here against Reith.
Evans had 3 walks as he swings at an outside pitch, grounds it softly to Bodenhausen. Bodenhausen will retire this side, but not before the Renegades get a clutch 2-run single from Dane Gray to retake a 2-1 lead. Headed to the bottom of the second here at Phil Welch. It'll be Coy, George, and Griffith for your Mustangs. Jackson, with it being books in baseball tonight here at Phil Welch, I thought we'd break out the little bit of literature trivia. So the first one I have for us tonight is what book series, all-time book series, doesn't matter if there was 3 books, 4 books, 5 books, 6 books, just book series all time, has sold the most copies combined. Whole series, collective copies. Is it A, the Goosebumps series, B, the Harry Potter series, C, Perry Mason, or D, is it the Berenstain Bears?
Some good options here, folks. Give some time to think about it. We'll have the answer in a couple of innings. But be thinking about that. My personal guess, I'm going to go Harry Potter. That's going to be my guess. I don't know the answer to this. Only you do, Truman, but my guess is Harry Potter.
And it might just be me, but you know, feel like Berenstain, you know, it should be spelled E-I-N, but you know, is it just me or is it wrong not to know that it's spelled A-I-N?
No, not at all. I also think when you think of Steen, you think of E-I-N in my world. But hey, that's just how it was back in the day. But
just English language sometimes. As Chris Coy gets the Mustangs started here in the second. Down 2-1 after the Renegades responded with a bases-loaded 2-run single from Dane Gray. Coy so far on the season is 2 for 8, has scored 3 runs, stolen 2 bases, and had 2 RBIs as he rips one past the diving glove of Gray into left field for his 3rd hit of the season and a leadoff hit here in the second.
Beautiful piece of hitting there from Chris Coy. Another job. These Mustangs hitters have really been pulling them to their own respected side. That one through the shortstop gap past the glove of Gray. And Coy with some good exit velocity and has a good speedster on first base for the Mustangs.
Now it'll be Justin George. George 1 for 8. That one hit, a double, has also drove into and walked. George will foul off the first offering from Graham. Graham in his first summer with the Renegades. George last night was 0 for 3 with a walk. He's left stranded as the go-ahead run at first base. What would have been the game-winning run in the 9th against the Monarchs last night when Mosh was picked off second. Graham has him down 1-2, tries to get him to chase that breaking ball. But so far this summer, the Mustangs hitters have been very patient, have had great plate discipline, not willing to chase anything outside the zone very often. Again, Graham tries to get him to chase a breaking ball in the outer half of the plate, but again, George keeps the bat on his shoulders as the count goes full.
George having himself a disciplined at-bat, count full at 3-2. Let's see what he can produce here for the Mustangs.
Full count offering, low in the dirt for ball 4. And back-to-back base runners here to start the second. Brings up Parker Griffith. Griffith in his 5th start of the season for the Mustangs. 5 for 13, leads this team early with 5 hits. Also leads this team with his 4 RBIs. He's also walked twice and scored a run. All 5 of those hits have been singles.
Yeah, Griffith out of Northwest Missouri State been probably the best producer here for the Mustangs. Like you mentioned, 5 hits, really knows where to put the ball, and even then, sacrifice flies won them a game last week against the Monarchs. So definitely a player you want to have with a runner in scoring position.
He's 0 for 3 with a hit by pitch last night. What was a slow and offensive night from the Mustangs. able to fight off the 1-2 pitch. Chris Coy led off the bottom of the second here with a nice single through the 5-6 hole on the left side, and then Justin George worked a walk. The 9-hole hitter Truman Bodenhausen stands on deck. And the top of the order, and Logan Miller in the hole.
Good take there from Griffith on that outside part. Looked like it cut just enough on that outside, but a good look from Griffith, even it out 2-2.
Griffith was the guy who last summer only appeared in 4 total games, as he'll go down swinging. First out of the inning, and also the first strikeout of the night for Tanner Graham. But Griffith was a guy who only appeared in 4 total games last season, already making his 5th start. But he gets retired in his first at-bat here in the bottom of the second. Now brings up Truman Bodenhausen. Bodenhausen at second base tonight, 3 for 11 with a double and 2 RBIs on the young season. He's also stolen a base, scored a run, and drawn a walk. Bodenhausen was in the leadoff spot last night, was 1 for 4. You know, Jackson, that's something they always say, I feel like, that 9-hole hitter is more or less your second leadoff hitter, and that's what Bodenhausen is. This is by no means a weak 9-hole hitter here the Mustangs have at their disposal.
And you know, you're right about that, Truman. In a lineup, you really want to have a guy in that 9-hole spot who can come in times like this with 1 out here late in the game, late in the inning of the second inning. But Bodenhausen, a really good, I like what you said there, bottom hole leadoff hitter. Definitely got some pop in him, definitely knows how to get those runs across.
Mustangs looking to tie it here in the bottom of the second. Bodenhausen, he thought he'd drawn a 4-pitch walk to load the bases, but has to put on the brakes quickly. Again, Bodenhausen thought that missed too far to the outside. Some grumbles from the crowd. They thought those last 2 pitches were where the 3 consecutive balls were. And now Graham has worked himself back in the count to run it full. And there is ball 4 to load the bases. Back for the top of the order for St. Joe and Logan Miller.
Miller, a big spot. Just 1 out on the board. Going to get a quick mound visit here for the Renegades and Graham. Miller grounded out to first in the first at-bat for the Mustangs, but Miller had himself a good night last night for the Mustangs. 2 for 3 with a run and a stolen base. Definitely a guy you really want to have here in this moment. Him and Bodenhausen kind of played that same role. Not the biggest stature, but definitely knows how to put those balls in the gaps across the infield.
Miller out of Minnesota State Mankato. Last summer in 27 games, hit .261 with 2 doubles and 11 RBIs. Also drew 15 walks and stole 6 bases without getting caught once. He's yet to drive in a run this season. This would be as good a time as ever with the Mustangs down here early, 2-1. Bottom of the second. Here in a beautifully sunny Phil Welch Stadium on a Thursday night here in St. Joe. Graham, who's been favoring that breaking ball here in this inning, drops in a slider on that outside corner for strike 1. Hits the exact same spot yet again. Now after the mound visit, already has Logan Miller down 0-2.
Graham looking to get that confidence back here with the bases loaded.
Miller this past spring had 43 hits and 131 at-bats. Good for a .328 average at Minnesota State Mankato. But Tanner Graham, outside corner yet again. Second strikeout of the inning and none bigger. That is the second out as Logan Miller head back to the dugout with the bat still on his shoulders.
Graham, a nice pitch once again on the outside half of the plate. Got Miller fooled. And a big one-out strikeout with 2 outs now for McCollum to deal with. Bases still loaded here for the Mustangs.
McCollum singled, but then was caught stealing, trying to steal second in the first. Trying to drive home the tying run here early. Big cut, but does not connect. McCollum hit .271 last summer, 26 hits, including 7 doubles, 3 triples, and drove in 20. He was only caught once last summer in 16 stolen base attempts. And already in his second, was caught for the first time. Graham now falls behind 3-1, and with nowhere to put him, Tanner Graham risks walking in the tying run here.
Good spot for McCollum. Likely a green light situation, but not too much.
McCollum took another few steps jogging out of the box, and yet again some groans from the crowd, who thought again that was the pitch where that missed to the outside. But now full count, all runners will be moving, so a ball in the gap here might be able to score 3. Instead, Tanner Graham strikes out his 3rd batter of the inning and gets out of a bases loaded 1-out jam to keep the score right where it is. We head to the top of the 3rd. Renegades lead 2-1. Top of the 3rd here at Phil Welch, a MINK League matchup between the Jefferson City Renegades and your St. Joseph Mustangs. Renegades out to an early 2-1 lead as Landon Reith back out for his 3rd inning of work. Ran into some trouble in the top of the 2nd as Will Bachman gets the Renegades started. Hit by a pitch in his first plate appearance of the night. So he now hits a long pop up down the left field line, but that'll get out of play near the bouncy castles behind the 3rd base dugout.
Yeah, last inning for Reith. Had a good inning. Just 1 hit was the differential here in this game. The 2 RBI single from Gray, but Reith doing still a good job remaining confident, getting himself out of the innings.
Bachman, a junior at Jamestown University, originally from Fargo, North Dakota. As that one lined, and a diving play made in right field by Darius Freeman. Freeman got a great jump on that, and he robs Bachman of a leadoff hit here in the 3rd.
And Darius Freeman out of right field strikes once again. 2 spectacular catches yesterday. And nothing short of that here today in the top of the 3rd. Gets it started for the Mustangs.
Now Jacob Hornschmeyer struck out swinging his first time up. Hornschmeyer appeared in 19 games, was 13 for 47. No extra base hits and only 2 RBIs. Last summer for the Renegades. Currently at SLU University, originally from Columbia, Missouri. Had 2 RBIs in his 3 for 4 outing last night. His first game with the Renegades this summer. Now he lines that one. Couple hops to Coy, who fields. And fires to George for the second out. 2 quick outs here in the third for Reith. Now Connor Fleeg with 2 outs. He walked and made his way all the way around to third before getting thrown out at home on a nice fielder's choice play from Reith to Griffith. Fleeg in his second summer with the Renegades. Down in the count 0-2. Had 27 hits last summer, 6 of those doubles. Also had 19 RBIs and worked 27 walks. Slash line of 265, 433 on base percentage, and a 324 slugging percentage. So that one's rolled softly to Bodenhausen, and Landon Reith has himself an easy 1-2-3 inning here in the third. It'll be Freeman, Felix, and Mosh coming up in the bottom of the third for your Mustangs. Renegades still lead 2-1. Bottom of the third, Mustangs down 2-1 here early as we get a look at that trivia question we talked about last inning. What book series all time has sold the most copies combined between every books in the series, with it being Books and Baseball Night here at Phil Welch? And your answer is, it is indeed Harry Potter. Has sold over a combined between these 7 books, 600 million copies.
Oh, wow. Okay. Okay. That's awesome. I mean, I answered Harry Potter. You know, you just get that type of series in there, the movies especially. I mean, I am just now starting out to get into Harry Potter. Me and my girlfriend have watched the first 2 movies, and we love them. Haven't read the books yet, but now after seeing that, I might have to give them a check.
I've actually never read the books. I read Percy Jackson as a kid and just never. I did watch the first Harry Potter movie with some friends here in late spring, and they're trying to show me those. I thought it was pretty good. I wasn't like wowed, but it wasn't like I was absolutely disgusted.
Yeah.
For those wondering, Goosebumps is second with only 400 million, so a 200 million book gap in terms of books sold between first and second place. Perry Mason is in third. I never heard of Perry Mason before coming up, and he's a fictional character, an American criminal defense lawyer.
Huh. Interesting.
In novels written by Earl Stanley Gardner in the 1930s to 1973, 300 million copies. Diary of a Wimpy Kid in fourth, 300 million. And then Berenstain Bears, 260 million. 428 installments of Berenstain Bears.
Wow.
Definitely know I have quite a few at home. Those are some childhood books that I was read. As Darius Freeman, who leads off for the Mustangs on a full count pitch, lines out to center to start the third.
Good swing put on from Freeman. You know, a slow start like we've been mentioning for him. Had a strong season last year, but here this game looking a little bit more confident at the plate. Had that triple back in the first, ended up scoring. And then on this line out, a sharply hit ball. So love what I'm seeing from Freeman so far.
Dom Felix steps in, who's 1 for 1 with an RBI single in the bottom of the first. Came through clutch for the Mustangs with a 2-out ribby knock to drive in Freeman. So he'll ground one over to Gray, and 2 quick outs here in the third for Graham, much like Reith.
Yeah, Graham, I mean, putting him in the zone, and the Mustangs are getting some good contact off these pitches, but just haven't been finding those holes like they need them to, and 2 quick outs like you mentioned. Quickly building that confidence here for Graham with a 1-run lead.
Jack Mosh popped out to Gray at short to end the first in his first trip to the dish. Comes to St. Joe from the University of Minnesota, where he only appeared in 7 games and had 9 at-bats. Very small sample size. Was the player of the game on Mustangs opening night in his first ever game. Had a double and also drew 2 walks. And a big 11-0 win over the North Missouri Naturals. Fouls one back over the roof and out of the stadium here at Phil Welch.
Just gave our top roof a knock. Did just roll off, but yeah, Mosh been a good player here for his first season with the Mustangs. Nice player they can count on in any situation.
Mosh in his 4th start of the season. And now works the count full here, 3-2 with 2 outs. Mosh does lead this team with 5 walks early in this season, looking to draw his 6th here. Instead, he goes down swinging at the high cheese. As Tanner Graham, much like Landon Reith, a 1-2-3 in the third. Head to the 4th. You're watching St. Joseph Mustangs here on YouTube. Landon Reith done after 3 innings of work, giving up 2 runs, and gives way to Bronco Witt, the first arm out of the bullpen. Witt in his 2nd appearance pitched last Wednesday on opening night, struck out 2 and walked 1, and now gets his second appearance of the season. Last summer was 3-1 in 36 innings, 1.50 ERA, 40 strikeouts to 25 walks. Will now look to keep this game at a 1-run deficit for the Mustangs. PJ Green gets us started for the Renegades here in the 4th. He's 1 for 1. He singled and came around to score on the Dane Gray 2-run single back in the 2nd. Green in his first summer with the Renegades. Listed at 6'2", 195 pounds. Playing center field tonight. Freeman will give that one a look. That'll get over into the party patio area, down that right field line, and Green now down 0-2.
Strong swing from Green. Singled out into right field last time. Loves that outside fastball. Tries to get some umph off of Bronco Witt out of the bullpen.
Witt was an all-MINK second-team selection summer ago for his efforts. Appeared in 16 games. Did make one start, but really settled into that bullpen role. High leverage guy that Coach Johnny Coy could call on at any time, as his first batter thought he had him with the strikeout, but Griffith not able to corral the foul tip. Green stays alive, still 1-2. Witt comes to the Mustangs from Maple Woods Community College. Pitched 16 games for them this past spring. Was 1-0 in 30 in the 3rd innings. 36 strikeouts to 16 walks. Had an 8.31 ERA. Now Green pops it up. Shallow center. In comes McCollum. He'll call off Coy to retire Green for the first out here in the top of the 4th.
Nice first out for Witt. You know, coming out of the bullpen, facing a strong hitter like PJ Green, who singled back in the 2nd inning of work. And a quick one out here. Brings up DiGiacinto.
Now it'll be Alex DiGiacinto. Reached on the fielder's choice back in the 2nd, but came around to score. DiGiacinto related to Lindenwood women's lacrosse player Alyssa DiGiacinto. So kind of cool, you know, me currently attending Lindenwood. I saw that on the roster. I was like, DiGiacinto, it's not a common last name. Ended up finding out, you know, sometimes it's such a small world.
It is.
Alex DiGiacinto, originally from Ontario, Canada. Richmond Hill, Ontario, excuse me.
What a good find there, Mr. Truman.
DiGiacinto, one of the better players for Lindenwood, but he'll ground out. As Witt comes in, fires strikes, and gets 2 quick outs. Now for the 9-hole, Ben Miller. Miller walked and was left stranded at second base back in that 2-run 2nd inning for the Renegades. Jeff City native. And now Witt has him down 0-2 quickly. Taco chants coming from the crowd as Miller has the honor of being tonight's Taco Bell, player of the game. If he strikes out, it means free tacos to Mustangs fans who have come out here tonight at Phil Welch.
Last night Mustangs got home with free tacos. Looking to do the same here in back-to-back nights.
And they will! Miller goes down swinging. Jackson Phelps with a little bit of an announcer jinx for the better. As it's a 1-2-3 inning for Bronco Witt. Bottom of the fourth coming up here at Phil Welch, a third of the way through tonight's game. Renegades still lead your Mustangs 2-1. We get a look here now at our weather track. Currently a beautiful 72 degrees. Some clouds in the sky, but right now the sun shining down on the outfield at Phil Welch. The temperature will continue to drop, much like it does when the sun goes down, 71. Sunset can be expected around 8:44. Seen quite a few beautiful sunsets here so far in St. Joseph this summer. Then at 9 o'clock, drops down all the way to 67, where the clouds will end up coming in. Some beautiful early June weather. Really have not had that heat wave, and not trying to announce or jinx that into existence, but does not feel like June in Missouri here on June the 5th, 2025.
Not at all, Truman. We are going to have another blessed night here with the weather. Definitely don't want to announce or jinx on the hot weather, because here in Missouri, I mean, we both currently do live and go to school in Missouri, and we know that it gets hot in the summer, and that humid weather can definitely take effect. We will take this type of weather as far as we can get it. And Coy will lead off the inning.
And he'll face a new Renegades pitcher, Carson Rustemeyer. Takes over after 3 innings of 1-run ball from Tanner Graham. Rustemeyer from State Fair Community College, Jefferson City, Missouri native. Stands at 6'2" and will look to keep this slim 1-run advantage for the Renegades. Chris Coy steps in 1 for 1. He's singled in his only at-bat so far in the second, but was stranded at third. As the Mustangs had bases loaded with 1 out, but Graham was able to get Logan Miller and Trevor McCollum swinging to end the threat. Rustemeyer comes in out of the bullpen. Comes out pumping strikes. Has Coy down 0-2. And it's a quick 3-pitch strikeout of Coy for Rustemeyer for the first out here in the bottom of the fourth.
What an engine from the bullpen for Rustemeyer. A single for the last at-bat on Coy. Gets him down swinging. Love the confidence out of the pitcher out of the mound. But the Mustangs, a little bit of a hitting drought in the last couple of innings. Justin George coming up to bat.
Walked his first time up. And, you know, it's interesting. Jackson Rustemeyer from State Fair Community College had a former high school teammate, Devin Wright, who was originally committed to play baseball there. Ended up transferring to Evangel University in Springfield, Missouri to run track. And recently won, I believe it was the NAIA 200 meters in track, if I'm not mistaken by that. And again, such a small world sometimes that we live in.
You know, you love to see it in the game of baseball. You can tie faces from everywhere and anywhere, no matter the team. And you can that be from back home, back at your school. And we love to see it here. State Fair Community College in Jefferson City. He's been Jefferson City home for his whole baseball career.
George takes his second free pass of the night. This one on a hit by pitch that clips him on the shin, and it'll be a one-out base runner for the Mustangs. Parker Griffith will step in. Struck out swinging his first time up in that bottom of the second.
And Griffith's last 3 at-bats, including last night, all 3 of them strikeouts. Looking to get out of the drought here.
Will ground that one to third. Throws the second one over to first, and it's an inning-ending 5-4-3 double play for the Renegades. Stjosephmustangs to Fleeg to Bachman. Erases the one-out hit by pitch and takes us to the 5th at Phil Welch. Renegades continue to silence these Mustangs bats and cling to a 2-1 advantage. Top of the lineup for the Renegades here in the top of the 5th, still clinging to a slim 2-1 lead. Here in a beautiful Thursday MINK League action as Bronco Witt out for his second inning of work, and the first pitch of the 5th clips Meyer on the front of his jersey, and it'll be a leadoff hit by pitch.
Yeah, Witt just lost control on that inside fastball. Looking to paint that inside half of the plate along that white rubber there, but just got enough of Meyer and the early runner for the Renegades here in the top of the 5th inning.
It'll now be Dane Gray, who right now has the game-deciding hit, a 2-out, 2-run single in that top of the 2nd. He's 2 for 2 with a pair of singles. Last summer, Gray had 28 hits and 97 at-bats, had 2 doubles, drove in 16 with 21 walks, and was 13 out of 14 stealing bases in his 32 games of action for the Renegades. Witt has him down now 0-2.
But on those fastballs going from east to west on both sides of the plate. That one just misses on that outside part. Some of those pitches did look like they got caught up on the Mustang side. Ends it up at 2-2.
Gray, a graduate of Rockbridge High School in Columbia, Missouri. Beautiful field they've got out there at Rockbridge. I had the pleasure of playing on both Columbia, all three technically Columbia High School fields, in Rockbridge, Columbia Hickman, and Battle High School. Columbia Hickman definitely has the most interesting of the three fields because it is both dual purpose for softball and baseball.
Oh, it's okay.
All three fields are turf, but yes, it is dual purpose in terms of that the infield is all dirt-colored turf. And they have the temporary fence that they will bring out for softball. So it's definitely the smallest of the three fields. Located behind Columbia Hickman High School. Full count offering to Gray. Swung on and missed. First out here in the fifth. Second strikeout for Witt.
Witt loves that fastball. We've seen him a surplus of them in the at-bats. Has a good ratio between the fastball and the off-speed, but sitting fastball once again. Gray was not expecting that. Like you mentioned, second strikeout from Witt, having an impressive outing here after coming in the fourth last inning.
Now it'll be Austin Evans with a runner on first and one out. 0 for 2 tonight. He's both popped out to Truman Bodenhausen and grounded out to him. Over there at second base. That one grounded to George at first. Over to Coy for one. On a throw, Coy gets taken out. And couldn't get enough juice on the throw return. It'll just be a 3-6 fielder's choice, as Coy trying to plead his case that it was a dirty slide from Meyer. But nonetheless, now 2 outs. And still a runner at first for Will Bachman.
Yeah, slide a little bit dirty there from Meyer over to Coy, but a nice job from Coy to still get that throw. A little bit short from George.
Now the first pitch swung on by Bachman, popped to right. Freeman in a few steps and makes the grab to retire the side. No hits, 1 left in the inning for the Renegades. Your Mustangs down to their final 15 outs here on YouTube. Bottom of the fifth here at Phil Welch. Mustangs still down 2-1. Thought we'd run it back with some more literature trivia. This time talking about individual selling books. So first one, book series, Harry Potter. But now this one is individual book. What is the all-time single book that has sold the most copies? Is it A, The Alchemist, B, The Little Prince, C, Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone for all Americans out there, the Sorcerer's Stone, but the original European English release was the Philosopher's Stone, or is it A Tale of Two Cities by Charles Dickens?
Got some good ones on there, Truman.
For all those watching, you can drop your answers in the chat for what you think the answer is, but right now your Mustangs are trying to mount a comeback. It'll be Truman Bodenhausen to lead off against Rustemeyer in his second inning of work. I will say for all those viewers out there, I have not read any of those 4 books on that list as Bodenhausen lines one to center. But Green got a great jump on it to retire Bodenhausen on a line out here in the 5th.
I can't say I've read any of them myself, Truman. Not the biggest reader in the world. I'm actually just trying to get through the Hunger Games series right now. I love those movies, so I've been trying to get through those. Hunger Games books here on Reader's Night, and after tonight it'll give me some motivation to get through them. But solid contact off the bat of Bodenhausen. Just Green had a good jump on it off the bat. Brings up Miller.
Now I feel like I gotta ask: you're reading the Hunger Games, you've seen the Hunger Games. Have you seen and/or read any other book, movie, series?
Diary of a Wimpy Kid.
Diary of a Wimpy Kid. Is that one up the middle for Miller? Going to try to beat it out, and he will. 1 out infield single from Logan Miller. As Dane Gray kept it in the infield, but was not going to beat the speedy Miller.
Nice job by Miller. Good jump out of the box. Just kept it going full force all the way to first. And McCollum now with the runner on base now for the Mustangs.
5th hit of the game for the Mustangs. But the reason I ask about, the reading and the watching of, books that have been made into movies is I want to ask, I guess consensus. I feel like it might change, but consensus, which one do you prefer, the books or the movies?
Oh my goodness! After reading some of those books of when I'm starting to read the Hunger Games here, I gotta say, after reading the Hunger Games, I think the books definitely are a little bit better than the movies, just because there's so much in detail. And in the movies, you'll notice after reading the books, they'll maybe leave some things out of the books.
Yeah, I myself am a big reader, and I just feel like, books, unfortunately, well, at least the people I interact with, going to college and stuff.
Yeah.
It just seems like reading is just kind of a dying, well, I guess not to say art, but like dying relaxation activity. But I really enjoy reading, and I will say, I just feel like with books, again, you're just able to get more detail than you are in, say, like a 2-hour, 2.5-hour movie. And again, it does take more brain power to read, but I feel like the enjoyment, I get more enjoyment sometimes out of reading. Now, definitely there are some movies that definitely enjoyed. Saw the new Mission Impossible movie. Great film. Not to spoil it for anyone. Great film. Really rounded out that franchise nicely. Meanwhile, Trevor McCollum takes a 5-pitch walk, and now the Mustangs yet again have runners at first and second with 1 out.
And it's the man you don't want to have coming up if you're the Renegades. Darius Freeman, a triple back in the 3rd, found his way scoring at home as well. And Freeman trying to continue. Had a sharp line ball out to center field back in the 3rd. Trying to keep that barrel to the ball here on Rustemeyer.
There goes Miller for 3rd, and he'll be in there without a throw. And now McCollum, after Miller behind the plate for the Renegades wasn't able to handle it, it'll be 2 stolen bases, 1 for Miller, 1 for McCollum, and now the Mustangs have both the tying and go-ahead runs in scoring position.
Love to see the double steal. The Mustangs still doing it on the base paths once again.
Gutsy, risky play. Now that one grounded to Freeman. Not going to come home. Miller's going to beat it out, and Freeman's going to beat the throw to first. RBI infield single for Darius Freeman, and this game is tied at 2.
What a job by Freeman. Rustemeyer wanted to give. He was going all the way to first, and over at first, Bachman wanted to look like he wanted to go home. If he would have stuck it all the way to first, would have gotten that 2nd out. But now runners on the corners for Dom Felix, and what a job by Miller. All gas, no brakes, wanting to go home.
Miller was going on contact all the way, And Bachman was playing on the infield grass, but that grounder took him a little bit to his right, and it was just enough that he hesitated, maybe throwing home, and didn't want to risk pulling a Lucas Duda. For all those Kansas City Royals fans, you know, bring back definitely a smile to the face. Now there goes Freeman, and he's going to get in there safely with the third stolen base of the inning for the Mustangs. Might have been trying to pull the just get caught in a pickle and allow the guy on third to score. But Rustemeyer didn't notice him in time, and now again, the Mustangs have runners at second and third with only one away.
In other words, for Royals fans and how they've been playing this inning on the Mustangs, that what speed do on the base pads. Third stolen base, 2 runners in scoring position.
What a turn of events here in this 5th inning. A single and a walk by Miller and McCollum, a double steal, an infield single by Freeman, and then a stolen base by him has tied this game and now forced the Renegade infield in to prevent the go-ahead run from crossing. Felix is 1 for 2, RBI single in the first. That one grounded up the middle. Flea cuts it off. McCollum's going to try to score, and he will! Shades of Eric Hosmer with Trevor McCollum on the gutsy gamble to dash home, and he gets in there safely. Mustangs lead 3-2 here in the 5th.
What a job by McCollum reading the throw off of Gray all the way in, looking like Eric Hosmer in Game 5 of the 2015 World Series. And what a job there to take the lead for the Mustangs.
Second RBI of the night for Felix. 4th on the season, and now the Mustangs lead 3-2. It will be Jack Mosh with 2 outs. Freeman's still out there at second base, and with his speed, a base hit to the outfield might easily score Freeman. We went from starting this inning from talking about what's better, books or movies, to now the Mustangs playing a little small ball and generating a rally to retake the lead.
Freeman, a guy with still some speed out on second base. If Mosh can go ahead and get that ball out into the outfield, Freeman's going to go around to score.
Freeman's dancing off, getting in the head of Rustemeyer. Mosh takes a breaking ball at the top of the zone, 2-2. Mustangs as a team and an organization support readers a lot. They have a summer reading program, but also what should be a weekly series throughout the summer, Reading with Rally. First episode up now. Freeman takes off for third. Mosh safe at first, and Freeman scores! The infield umpire got in the way, didn't allow Gray to charge that ball, and Mosh hustling beats out the infield single, and Freeman never stopped running, and now the Mustangs lead by 2.
The small ball continues. Freeman off the jump, wanting to go home. And what a job by Mosh. Put a hard enough swing over to short, and Gray. Mosh got enough time to beat it out, and Freeman not stopping. What an inning so far here for the Mustangs.
It's a 3-run bottom of the 5th. Mustangs came into this inning down 2-1 and now lead 4-2. Chris Coy on 1-0, grounds it to Gray. Deep in the hole at short. What a throw! And he gets him! Unbelievable play by Dane Gray to retire Chris Coy. Mustangs thought maybe Bachman pulled his foot a little early. Johnny Coy's going to have a talk with the infield umpire. Jack Mosh pleading his case. Was a bang-bang play. Our umpiring crew will talk it over. And unfortunately, the call will stand. But what a bottom of the fifth for the Mustangs. 3 runs come across as the Mustangs dance around the bases to claim a 4-2 lead. We're headed to the 6th here at Phil Welch. You're watching St. Joseph Mustangs baseball here on YouTube. Mustangs back in front 4-2 as we head to the 6th, and Jace Johnson gets his 3rd appearance of the season. So far, 2 innings pitched, 4 strikeouts. Pitched last night, pitched the 9th, had 2 strikeouts in that inning, and so far has been nails this season. And now comes in looking to get his first hold of the season and keep this lead right where it is.
Johnson had an impressive night last night for the Mustangs, closing out a good inning for them. Even though the loss, he is still contributing major factors here to this Mustangs bullpen. Get another look at him tonight.
Johnson look at the middle of this Renegade order. Hornschmeyer, Fleeg, and PJ Green. As if you're just joining us, a wild bottom of the 5th inning that started with a 1-out single from Logan Miller, a walk from McCollum, a double steal, and then Darius Freeman beating out an infield single to the first baseman, Bachman. Dom Felix would drive in another run, and then Jack Mosh would reach on an infield single, and Darius Freeman was off and running on the pitch and came all the way around to score.
An impressive small ball inning, like we've been mentioning, Truman. They just played the ball really smart off the glove and off the bats, watching it go all the way through the infield and hustling every single 90 feet they could get.
Johnson looking to keep the trend of dominant bullpen pitching from this Mustangs team. Right now, the Mustangs bullpen working on a 23 consecutive innings scoreless streak. The few runs that they have allowed have only been from the starters, as any person to walk through those bullpen gates out in right center field, not to allow a run. Hopefully the announcer does not come back to bite me. And if it does, we can clip that and we can laugh at it at the end of the season. But this Mustangs bullpen has been absolute nails. And right there, Jace Johnson, another strikeout, his 5th of the season. On 3 pitches, retire Hornschmeyer.
We'll have to see, Johnson, a confident guy straight out of the bullpen last night in his first appearance back in the 9th inning of work. His first batter, grounded out and 2 strikeouts back in the 9th for him last night. So a guy who definitely knows how to get the velocity over the plate.
Johnson's had 2 strikeouts in each of his innings. Pitched on opening night last Wednesday and last night. And a 2-1 loss to the Kansas City Monarchs of the Kansas City Amateur Baseball Association. Griffith got clipped by that last foul ball by Fleeg. Give him some time. It's one of those that never feels good as a catcher. I know when I first started playing baseball, especially travel baseball when I was 9, 10, 11. I was a catcher. Getting hit never felt good. Can't say that.
You know, I never got the joy to grace being a catcher. I was always third base and shortstop in my baseball career.
And I eventually migrated from being a catcher to the hot corner, and then I really settled in at second base. Then I grew a bunch during my junior year of high school and also made a living at first base.
Love it.
Got some time on the mound, but always one of those players, thought he deserved more, but, being on a high school team with a plentiful of pitchers, going to a Class 6 school here in Missouri, the outcrop of arms was definitely a lot, so unfortunately didn't get many opportunities on the mound, but still played in all but 2 games my senior year on the varsity level. Jace Johnson, meanwhile, has Fleeg down 2-2. Fleeg 0 for 1. He walked in his first trip and grounded out to Bodenhausen at second in the third. And Fleeg gets rung up. Low in the zone on the breaking pitch. Johnson back-to-back strikeouts to start his outing here tonight.
Nice job by Johnson. Another fastball blown past these Renegade hitters. Exactly what he did last night. 2 quick outs for him. And P.J. Green, dominant hitter here for the Renegades, coming up next.
Green's hit it hard twice. He singled and flew out. Johnson 2 quick strikeouts. That one way outside in the other batter's box, gets past Parker Griffith, and the great words from the legendary baseball movie Major League and the late Bob Uecker, just a bit outside.
One of my favorite baseball movies, that whole series, one of the best. And I have to ask, we've been talking about movies, Truman. What is your all-time favorite baseball movie?
It's definitely hard. Major League, Bull Durham, Major League 2, Bad News Bears, 42. It's hard. I'm not really one to keep a list of, favorite, any type of movie. So, it's hard. I think there are a lot. Moneyball comes to mind. I think there are a lot of great baseball movies, sports movies in general. I can't pick one. Do you have a favorite?
Everyone's Hero, the animated baseball movie about Babe Ruth's bat. All-time favorite movie as a childhood, but when I grew up, had a love, for the bench warmers and the funny baseball movies.
Johnson loses Green, as Green will draw a 2-out walk to bring up DiGiacinto.
Nice walk there, drone by Green. 2 outs on the board. Was just looking to stay a little bit disciplined at the plate and did just that. Here against Johnson, coming off 2 strikeouts, and quality at-bat from Green. Gets a nice base runner on for the Renegades.
Well, and you can't forget Rookie of the Year.
Oh, it's such a good one.
I feel like as a kid, we all wanted to be that lucky kid that you break your arm, and then all of a sudden you just have this bionic super arm throwing 95 miles an hour as a 12-year-old.
Another good one. Correct me if I'm wrong, Little Big League, the Twins manager, the kid who owned the Minnesota Twins.
That one is also good.
Yeah.
That one also was no offense to my dad, but it was as a kid, it's why don't you own a Major League Baseball team?
Right.
But Dad, if you are listening, I do, you work hard at your job. Meanwhile, is Alex DiGiacinto. He's 0 for 2. He reached base his first trip on a fielder's choice and came around to score, then grounded out his second time up. Johnson now has him down 1-2. Top of the 6th here at Phil Welch on a beautiful Thursday night. Mustangs with a little comeback juice in the veins. Plating 3 in the bottom of the 5th to take a 4-2 lead, and that's where we stand at right now. And Johnson gets DiGiacinto swinging. 3 strikeouts in the inning from Johnson, 1 left on the 2-out walk. But we head to the bottom of the 6th. Coming up for the Mustangs, it'll be George, Griffith, and Bodenhausen in the bottom of the order as you're watching St. Joseph Mustangs baseball here on YouTube. Bottom of the order for your Mustangs and George, Griffith, and Bodenhausen here in the bottom of the 6th. But we get back to our second trivia question of the night. Books in baseball night at the Phil Welch. Mustangs have a summer reading program and also with a Reading with Rally YouTube series. The first video is up right now on the St. Joseph Mustangs YouTube. But the second question was, what single book has sold the most copies all time? So individual book, was it The Alchemist, The Little Prince, maybe Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone? If those viewers remember for our first trivia question, Harry Potter, the most popular book series all time. Or was it D, A Tale of Two Cities? And the answer is, it was indeed Charles Dickens' A Tale of Two Cities has sold over 200 million copies, just in front of the French book, The Little Prince, originally Le Petit Prince.
Okay.
Excuse my French, by Antoine de Saint-Exupéry. Pardon my French, but and then The Alchemist, the Portuguese novel from Paulo Coelho, O Alquimista in Portuguese, if again, English is my first language. And then Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone has also respectively sold 120 million copies. The Hobbit is on this top 10 list, sitting at number 6, 100 million copies, and then Alice's Adventures in Wonderland by Lewis Carroll, 100 million copies.
Gotcha. Got some good numbers there.
The more you know about English, Portuguese, French literature. Meanwhile, for the Renegades, Braden Grosclose is their third pitcher of the night, takes over for Carson Rustemeyer, who got roughed up in the bottom of the 5th, gave up 3 runs. And if the game were to end right now, would be the losing pitcher.
Yeah, Rustemeyer, tough 2 innings of work there, 3 runs on 3 hits. Definitely not the most respected outcome there, but nice job by Grosclose on 2-strike count.
Justin George on a 2-2 count, grounds it over to DiGiacinto at third, who throws over to Bachman to retire George for the first out. Will now be Parker Griffith, 0 for 2 night, has struck out swinging and grounded into a double play.
Griffith still looking for his first hit and first on-base appearance here in this game. Still in a little bit of a hitting drought in the last 2 games.
Griffith was your Mustangs player of the game last Friday night. Drove in 2 and had the game-winning sacrifice fly in the 8th inning against the Kansas City Monarchs. Griffith is a guy who only had 12 total at-bats and appeared in 4 games last summer, and already in his 5th start has really solidified as the Mustangs' starting catcher this summer. Leads the team with 5 hits. And draws a 1-out walk here in the bottom of the 6th.
Quality at-bat from Parker Griffith. You know, all it takes to get out of a little bit of a slump is to just get on base with a walk like that, Truman, and build some confidence back and know that, hey, we can work some quality at-bats.
And there is the general manager of the St. Joseph Mustangs, Kai Turner, getting the shot. Thankfully, he didn't cover up anything. You know, you never know, sometimes it might happen, and then all of a sudden, you know, Homer gets hit, and it's, well, sorry to our viewers at home, but they had to stare at the beautiful face of not only the Mustangs general manager, team owner, but also the general manager or president of the MINK League.
Yes.
Won Executive of the Year last summer. The Mustangs claim their 9th MINK League championship on the quest for 10. I feel like we gotta come up with a catchy slogan.
We do. We definitely do. And I don't know if anyone's wondering at home what Kai was wearing. It is Thursday $1.50 hot dogs. He has a hot dog Hawaiian shirt with his face on it.
He is quite the fashion inventory. I've been very impressed.
I have as well. New things to see every single night. You got to love a guy like Kai Turner bringing out the closet every single game.
And, you know, you may come into Phil Welch with maybe some baggage of whatever the day may hold, but I feel like you can always have a smile on your face when you see what Kai Turner happens to be wearing.
I agree.
Or at least give yourself a little bit of a chuckle, you know? Meanwhile, Truman Bodenhausen down the count 1-2. Top of the lineup, and Logan Miller standing on deck. Bodenhausen 0 for 1. He lined to center his last time up. Also has a walk. Now the count goes full. You're talking about coming up with slogans for the quest for 10. I guess maybe that's what our job for as interns, as Bodenhausen grounds it to DiGiacinto over to second for 1, but Bodenhausen too speedy to get the double play. Griffith will be cut down for the second out. What I was saying is, you know, being interns, I guess maybe that's where our creative juices come in handy, you know, being younger, brain's not fully developed, you know, we are, you know, trying to be more creative. But,
I know.
You know, if folks at home, maybe tomorrow night, you know, we'll think on it the rest of tonight's game. We'll think about it tomorrow. Tomorrow night, we will come back and have a catchy slogan as the Mustangs look for their quest for a astounding 10th MINK League championship. Is right there, Grows close. Going to be called for a balk. Balk called, as Bodenhausen will now move into scoring position.
Interesting call there from Gross Close. Catcher talking to the ump to get a grip on what happened there, but Bodenhausen advances 90 feet with 2 outs.
You know, he just didn't come set, and sometimes that happens. You know, interesting enough, a vivid memory from playing travel baseball, I think I was 11 or 12, and playing in like one of those league games. You know, you play in a league, and I remember I was pitching, and, you know, I think I just didn't forgot maybe about the balk rule. I totally balked on a play.
Yeah.
Umpire doesn't call it. I end up giving up a 2-run single.
Okay.
Funny enough, later in that game, I come up to bat. Bases loaded, down by 3. I miss hitting a walk-off grand slam by about a foot.
Oh.
Ball clangs off the wall. And unfortunately, it was with 2 outs, too. 2 outs, too.
Oh, no.
And my teammate on first forgot to run. So instead of tying the game, we were down by 1 and had second and third. He tries to steal home. Their kid box doesn't call it. We lose the game.
Oh, my goodness.
Crazy. You know, 11U baseball, you never really know what's going to happen. One of the crazier baseball memories I have.
I mean, definitely.
Only ever
everyone
hit
has.
1 homer in my baseball career. It was that same year in a different league game. Hit one dead center field. That's right there. Miller, shift was over into shallow right. He will reach with an infield single as Fleeg was holding Bodenhausen on. Was unable to get to that. Logan Miller with his second hit of the night. And now it's first and third for Trevor McCollum.
Nice job by Miller. Little weak ground ball over to the second base side. Fleek just couldn't get there in time, and Miller, the speed, got around on that ball. Ducks on a pond, one. Runners on first and third here for Bodenhausen, for McCollum.
Bodenhausen is one of the Ducks.
One of the Ducks.
He is not trying to drive the Ducks in. He is a Duck.
He is not Mama Duck here.
Well, I mean, ducklings follow Mama Duck, so I guess in that sense, McCollum is a duckling, and technically Bodenhausen is mother duck because you run in a counterclockwise fashion around the base. It's getting weird tonight, ladies and gentlemen. We're talking about ducks, bringing up baseball memories. There goes Miller for second. No throw. He will have himself his second stolen base. And now 2 in scoring position for the Mustangs.
McCollum, another good opportunity here. 2 outs on the board here. So Griessel just looking to get out of this with no runs.
Have you ever been duck hunting? Is duck hunting a thing up here in the Kansas City St. Joe area?
You know, I've never been duck hunting. I've never been hunting in general.
Me neither.
Yeah.
Never even held an actual gun. Definitely held my fair share of Nerf guns, but
me too. I'm a big Nerf gun guy. I was a big.
I've also
Nerf gun
played
kid.
airsoft a few times, paintball once. So I mean, held those types of firearms. Meanwhile, the 3-1 to McCollum outside, and the bases are going to be loaded for Darius Freeman.
Nice walk drawn by McCollum. Bases juice for Darius Freeman. Freeman, 2 hits on the day, a triple in the first, and a single back in the 5th. RBI single to mention.
It was an RBI single that it was a soft grounder to Bachman. Logan Miller took off for home. The grounder took Bachman to his right, so he hesitated about whether he wanted to throw home, elected not to, but by the time he committed to going over to first base, Freeman was already blazing down the line and beat out the rare beating out an infield single to the first baseman. And it really sparked that inning as then Dom Felix came up with an RBI ground out to take the lead, and then Jack Mosh had his own RBI infield single to pad the lead. Another golden opportunity here for the Mustangs. The bases are all full of ducks.
Bodenhausen still mother duck, and now another duckling coming to the plate in Freeman. There you go. Complete the analogy.
First pitch is upstairs to Freeman. Jackson already mentioned it, but Freeman had a ringing triple, one hopping the wall out in deep right center, got a fastball right down the middle and didn't miss it. There's another fastball, but it's lined off the glove of Fleeg. 1 runs in. Here comes another, headed to third was McCollum, and he'll be tagged out, but not before both Bodenhausen and Miller score. Fleeg doesn't look it all the way into his glove, and it costs the Renegades.
What a weird coincidence here from Freeman, and that'll be scored in E4. 2 RBIs for Freeman. What a game. All hits, even the 2 outs and the mishands he's had have been all rocketed off the bat, and Freeman doing a good job. And we're looking to see here the ump saying that the run will score at home before the out. So it should be 6-2, and that is going to be your lead.
As we'll head to the 7th here at Phil Welch, Mustangs get 2. Now lead 6-2 over the Renegades. The 9-hole hitter, Ben Miller, leads off for the Renegades down to their final 9 outs, now down by 4. As Mustangs Nation, let's ride. Riding the back of some small ball, stolen bases, and some errors by the Renegades out in the field have ballooned this lead up to 4 for your Mustangs. As Jace Johnson out for his second inning of work. As now the bullpen shutout streak for the Mustangs has reached 24 consecutive innings of shutout baseball from this Mustangs bullpen. Renegades were rolling there for a bit, up 2-1. And this is a narrative they're trying to flip here in this 2025 season, as the Mustangs were a perfect 4-0 over the Renegades last summer, outscoring them 22-4. They also out-hit them 32-20. Struck out less, as the Renegades struck out 38 times in 4 games compared to 26, as in 3 of those 4 games, the Renegades had 10 or more strikeouts. Mustangs also had more stolen bases, 16-8, been very prevalent tonight. Both teams were very even in the walk category. Mustangs only had 19 to the Renegades' 18. But so far the narrative trying to be flipped, and so far it hasn't. And Miller chases a breaking ball in the dirt. 4th strikeout for Johnson and the first out here in the 7th.
Nice job by Johnson coming in and getting the strikeout early on, retiring that leadoff batter, and a good start here to the top of the 7th inning for the Mustangs.
Back to the top of the order, and Maddox Meyer, who's 0 for 2. He was hit by a pitch his last time up, but was cut down on a fielder's choice. Now that one runs inside again on Meyer, and he's a little frustrated, but will take first on his second hit by pitch of the evening.
Just running a little inside off the hand of Johnson, just couldn't get that release in time, and Renegades dancing on first.
One out hit by pitch brings up Dane Gray, who for a while was the difference in the ballgame. A 2-out, 2-run single in the top of the 2nd, scoring P.J. Green and Alex DiGiacinto to give the Renegades a 2-1 lead. They held to the bottom of the 5th until the floodgates burst open for the Mustangs offense. Who are you going to say? Okay, yeah. Is that now that pickoff attempt gets away from Johnson, and it'll get into the Mustangs dugout. So an E1 on Johnson allows Meyer to move up 90 feet into scoring position. Meyer didn't have the biggest lead over at first. Johnson thought he could maybe pick him off, catch him sleeping. Now the Renegades are in business with their first runner in scoring position since all the way back in that 2-run 2nd inning.
Johnson really coming in here doing a good job. Runner in scoring position, but still looking confident throwing strikes. Doing good work here for the Mustangs.
Pitch clips the outside corner. Gray was ahead 2-0, and now Johnson has battled back with 2 consecutive strikes. 4 strikeouts through an inning into the 3rd out of the bullpen for Johnson.
Full count out here to Gray. We'll see if Johnson wants to continue going to that fastball that just been blowing these Renegades hitters away.
Goes back to the fastball at the knees. Called strike 3 on Gray. 5th strikeout for Johnson. As Gray wanted nothing to do with that beautiful pitch right at the bottom of the zone. Now 2 outs here in the 7th.
We were talking about it last night, Truman, how Johnson's release coming over that sidearm has been really tough for those right-handed hitters to see. Now, lefties have a little bit more of an advantage seeing it all the way out, but if you're a right-handed hitter against Johnson, it's going to be tough the whole way out.
Dancing off second is Meyer as the first pitch now to Austin Evans is in there for a strike. Evans looking for his first hit. 0 for 3, did reach on a fielder's choice his last time up. Trying to cut into this Mustangs lead with only 7 outs left. That one going to run too far inside, and now the second hit by pitch of the inning.
That one right up into the shoulder area off Evans. That one looked like it hurt. He's taking a nice little walk. Looks like he's just fine. But 2 runners on, 2 outs here for the Renegades. And Johnson has a lot of velocity, just lost a little bit of control. He's had that happen a couple of times here in his 2 innings of work, but still nonetheless a good outing so far out of the bullpen. Like you mentioned, 5 strikeouts so far, Truman.
There is some motion right now in the Mustangs bullpen, but Coach Johnny Coy hoping Johnson can give him these 2 innings. Get Johnson his first hold on the season. Quickly has Will Bachman down 0-2. Bachman 0 for 2. He was hit by pitch in the first, and then a couple of lineouts and flyouts to Freeman out and right. The 0-2 offering, swung on and missed at the slider. Was going to need an oar to hit that as Jace Johnson, 6 strikeouts in 2 innings and keeps the score right where it is. We're headed to the bottom of the 7th here at Phil Welch. Your Mustangs still lead the Renegades 6-2. Bottom of the 7th here, Mustangs looking to score for the 3rd consecutive inning. Plated 3 in the bottom of the 5th and 2 in the 6th to reclaim the lead at 6-2, out-hitting the Renegades 7-3. Renegades have also committed 2 errors. None more costly than the error on Connor Fleeg in that bottom of the 6th that allowed 2 runs to score on the hard-hit line drive off the bat of Darius Freeman. Dom Felix leads off against Braden Grosclose, who's still out there. Some action out in the Renegades bullpen. Grosclose has Felix down 1-2. Felix so far tonight, RBI single in the first, and an RBI ground out in the 5th. So 1 for 3, but 2 RBIs for old Dom Felix. Is now that one runs up near his head. Maybe grows close, giving a little payback after Jace Johnson hit a pair of Renegades hitters in the top half of this inning. That's always one of my favorite stories about, you know, kind of teammates standing up for one another in terms of retaliation. As Felix, hard hit grounder through the right side, off the glove of Fleeg for a leadoff hit for Dom Felix, his 2nd of the night.
Another good hit from Felix. Felix first RBI single back in the 1st over to the 3rd base side. Goes to the opposite side of the field tonight. Gets past the glove of Fleeg. No outs. And yet another hit, the 8th of the night for the Mustangs.
Anyway, the story I was getting at was, I'll be honest, I'm not sure what year it was, but it's when CC Sabathia pitched for the Yankees. It was his final start of the season, playing in Tampa Bay. And I believe he had to pitch maybe 7 innings or 6 innings to receive a substantial, you know, bonus that's built into those contracts, probably like $250K or something. But they had been chippy all night, and well, Sabathia decided to stick up for his teammates, and instead of going for the money, he decided to drill a Tampa Bay Ray hitter and get ejected from the game. I mean, if that doesn't show being a team player, not sure what does. There is something about standing up for your teammates. Electing to hit one as that ball gets away from Miller behind the plate. Moving up 90 feet will be Felix. As Felix moves up on the wild pitch. And now Mosh has worked the count 3-0. Mosh had been 0 for 2 before he beat out an infield single to Gray at short. And that was the play that Darius Freeman scored all the way from 2nd on. So 1 for 3 night with an RBI for Jack Mosh.
That play was spectacular. Watching Freeman all the way from 2nd, we saw him all gas, no brakes for him all the way to home.
Got a great jump, was stealing, and then Mosh, you know, might have had a little help from the field umpire, got in the way of Gray, as Gray wasn't able to charge that. Had to sit back and wait for it, but Mosh runs every ball out hard and was able to beat it out, and Freeman, like you said, never stopped running, as now Mosh on the full count throws his bat as he knows he missed one, shallow center. PJ Green will make the catch for the first out. That's always one frustrating as a hitter, when you get that fastball right down the middle and you just miss it.
Oh, yeah, you know you have it, and he's going to want that one back. I mean, that was right directed for him. Left-handed hitter with Gross close here. Saw it all the way out of the hand on that left-hand side and just got a little bit underneath it. But now Coy here with a good opportunity to drive an RBI in.
Coy also 1 for 3. The hit was Coy's 3rd on the season. All 3 have been singles. Looking to drive in his 3rd run of the season with Dom Felix out there at 2nd base with 1 out. Felix maybe not the fastest Mustang, but definitely when he needs to, he can unhitch the wagon, as they say, and really turn on the jets.
Felix got that, yeah, like you mentioned, sleeper speed. I mean, when he needs to, gets around those bases faster than about anyone on the team. Coy, a reliable guy. Felix, a reliable guy. You got that reliable bottom half of that lineup that we've been talking about.
Oh. And now that one runs inside. And I think that hit Coy, and it might have clipped our home plate umpire, clipped the catcher. Is that sound effect? You know, we talked about last night, hearing the elbow guard. You know, it was nice, you know, hard sound, but that one was kind of more of a thunk.
Well, it sounded
like a clunk.
Clunk and a pinball machine effect. It was boom, boom, boom. It was weird. It almost looked like it kind of hit up near Coy's chin guard up there, but it might have just hit that elbow. Couldn't really tell from here, but yeah, it hit either that umpire or the catcher. And
so that'll do it for Grows Close, as Mike D'Amelia makes the call of the bullpen here with 1 out in the bottom of the 7th, but the Mustangs yet again threatening with runners at 1st and 2nd. As we'll step aside, tell you all about the new Renegades pitcher right after this. You're watching St. Joseph Mustangs baseball here on YouTube. Connor Head takes over, 1 out here in the bottom of the 7th for Braden Grosclose, who is responsible for both runners on first and second here. Head, his first appearance of this season, but his second season with the Renegades. As Head appeared in 5 games, pitched 5 1/3 innings, gave up 5 runs, 3 earned, 4 strikeouts to 3 walks, good enough for a 5.06 ERA. Did also give up a homer. Has the bottom of the order here for the Mustangs. First for Justin George. It's George 0 for 1. He's walked, he's been hit by a pitch, and he's also grounded out to third. And looking to come through for his team right here. George, 2 runs driven in on this season. Looking to add to that total. Looking also for his second hit of the season, now 1 for 9. Instead, he'll get hit for the second time tonight, improve his on-base percentage, as now they're all loaded up for Parker Griffith.
Bases juice, 1 out. Parker Griffith drew a walk his last at-bat, ending his little drought, hopefully to continue that same effect here. And a good, reliable batter coming up for the Mustangs.
Now that hit by pitch sound effect was the one off the elbow guard. That was
Yeah.
the definite, just kind of a...
It was a clang. It was definitely a clang.
It was a clang, yeah. Those hard plastic elbow guards. Never wore those when I was playing, even all the way up through my senior year. I just, it was a batting glove, maybe an arm sleeve if it was cool, but never had the elbow guard or the shin guard or the foot guard or the oven mitt or the helmet extension
Chin
thing. The chin guard. Never. I was just a batting glove kind of guy. Meanwhile, the bases are juiced. Parker Griffith looking to pop it open and really blow the doors off this game.
Middle school, I had the chin guard on, but just batting gloves for me. That was the only, I'd say, accessory that I had in baseball, was that chin guard on the helmet.
I mean, I did wear some pair of sports glasses that if you wanted reference, just look at Noah Cameron. Pretty similar to those Oakleys.
Oh, boy.
No frames under the bottom side of the lens. Really clean look. At least in my opinion.
Oh, yeah.
2-1 the count on Griffith. Anything but the inning double play ball, really. Maybe a strikeout or the infield pop. Something to the outfield.
Bringing home Felix, like you said, yeah, this was the main goal here for Griffith, really. Play, unselfish baseball at this point. That we saw that last week, how they played with these runners in scoring position. So we'll have to see what Griffith can work here with the 2-2 count.
He will just foul one off the hands. That's just one of those. Those are one of those skillful foul balls. One of those pitches is probably a strike, but you don't think you can put good wood on it, so you just, contort your swing to foul a pitch off and extend the at-bat and get Head to make a mistake. Count runs full, and now Head risks walking in the 7th run of the night for the Mustangs. Full count offering from Head. Outside, ball 4. And the merry-go-round turns once more as it's an RBI walk for Parker Griffith as Dom Felix comes around to score.
Nice at-bat from Parker Griffith. Worked his way all the way to 3-2. Watch that fastball go all the way across the other side of the plate and plates home an RBI. Griffith gets those RBIs in any way possible we've seen here to start his season. And the Mustangs open up a 5-run lead.
Now it'll be the 9-hole Truman Bodenhausen. Bodenhausen reached on a walk his first time up, then lined out to center. Then came around to score a run in the 6th. He grounded into a fielder's choice. Came around to score on the 2-run air. Infield in for the Renegades, playing for the force out at home. Bodenhausen lines one into right field. Coy scores. Here comes George. Up with the throw from right is Evans. Not in time. Now 9-2, the Mustangs lead on the 2-run single from Truman Bodenhausen.
What a hit from Bodenhausen. Took it to the opposite side. And those runners were ready. Coy, then George coming across to score. And the Mustangs, now a 7-run lead, have really opened it up here in the late half innings, Truman. We've just seen some quality baseball, quality at-bats all the way around here in these final 3 innings.
The Mustangs have unhooked the trailer and allowed the Mustang to roam free as this train keeps on moving. Now runners at first and third with still only 1 away. 3 home in the inning, 3rd consecutive inning the Mustangs have scored. The Mustangs are 3 runs away from ending this game early.
Would love to see here Mr. Miller put it over the wall for the run rule.
Still counts as a walk-off, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Except, you know, one team feels extra bad because it was a run rule, not just a normal walk-off.
Right. Couldn't battle all the way
But
through.
I must say, you know, if the announcer jinx is real or announcer manifestation, Jackson Phelps has been right a couple times tonight. Let's see if Logan Miller will run into one. Bodenhausen takes off. Throw down, not in time. Yet another stolen base for the Mustangs. Bodenhausen's 2nd of the season as they continue to run wild.
Still only 1 out, Truman. Mustangs still in big attack mode here. That run rule looking even more likely here.
Again, Miller just looking to put something in the outfield. Drive a couple runs home. Infield again in for the Renegades. This game got away from them quickly. They look to possibly, honestly, cruise to a 2-1 victory. Then the floodgates burst in the 5th, and the Mustangs have now scored 8 unanswered runs, but Logan Miller will go down swinging for the 2nd out of the inning.
Back in that 5th, 3 runs scored in the top half of the lineup. It was Miller, McCollum, and Freeman coming in to score. I mean, a great inning in there, and then 2 runs back in the 6th. Now here in the 7th. 3 more runs and still 2 outs on the board for McCollum with 2 runners in scoring position to add.
Column 1 for 2. He singled and drawn 2 walks. Looking to extend this inning for Darius Freeman, who's put on a show at the plate, on the bases, and in the field.
Ooh, that was getting up high, close to the face of McCollum there. Had to really scurry out of the way pretty quick.
Oohs and ahs from the crowd is, you know, it's never pretty when a fastball being thrown anywhere between, 80 to 90, even more than 90, gets up near the facial area. Even with those helmets, sometimes just the unfortunate thing happens. The player gets clipped in the face. Column way ahead, 3-0, looking to draw his 3rd straight walk in as many plate appearances. The 3-1. Fouled away, and now 3-2. On McCollum with Darius Freeman on deck.
He doing a good job here, was 3-0. Now back into a 2-strike pitcher's count here for McCollum. He's going to have to guess here with 2 outs, but anything in that zone, McCollum's definitely going to be swinging.
Instead, he takes ball 4 on the outside. Head thought that got the outside corner. He took quite a few steps, headed towards his third base dugout. And he'll have to put it in reverse real quick as now the bases are again full. Ducks on the pond, base is juiced for Darius Freeman. Freeman 2 for 4. Tripled and scored a run in the first. Lined out to center in the third. Singled, stole a base, and came around to score in the fifth. And then reached on an error, and 2 runs scored on that. Back in the sixth. Mustangs have batted around here in the seventh.
Good look there from Freeman on that outside half. You know, the blue zone has been pretty open here, especially on those outside hitters, predominantly on the right-hand batter's side. But Freeman, one of the more disciplined hitters here for the Mustangs, looking to still make some contact on the ball here with 2 outs.
Head gets ahead. 1-2 now, looking to put Freeman away and extinguish the inferno that has erupted from that first base dugout here at Phil Welch. But Freeman, a line one, shallow center, it will fall. 1 run's home. Here comes Bodenhausen, throw to the plate, cut off. And it's now 11-2 as Darius Freeman continues to be lava hot. 3rd hit of the night, 3rd RBI of the night.
Darius Freeman just doing what he does best. That ball was not rocketed, but he just put it into center field where he found it, kind of up in the zone. Green just couldn't get a good throw in time to get Griffith. Mustangs just 1 run away with Felix at the plate from a run rule. But Darius Freeman continuing the night, 3 hits.
Dom Felix, who started this inning with a single, advanced to second on a wild pitch. Then came around to score on the Parker Griffith walk. Gets his 2nd at-bat of the inning. 2 for 4 night for the Mustangs. 3rd baseman. There goes to 3rd, goes McCollum. Freeman also up to 2nd. It's yet another double steal and another pair of stolen bases for St. Joe.
And here you go, Truman, right here. Winning run just 90 feet away for the Mustangs. Get a good look here to see if Felix, now with a 2-0 count, see what he can do here for the Mustangs, see if he can produce another run, or if he can still let the Renegades live another inning.
The 2-0 clips the corner, 2-1. A 2-1, low in the dirt. Now 3-1 with Jack Mosh on deck. Mosh was the first out as he flew out to center. And now that one lined left field, but it hangs up for Meyer, who makes the catch and retires the side. A 5-spot put up for the Mustangs. Now 10 unanswered runs as we head to the 8th here at Phil Welch. Mustangs 11, Renegades 2. Fourth pitcher of the night for the Mustangs. It's Diego de Santiago who gets the ball here in the 8th with a massive 11-2 lead that his Mustangs have built up. He's already made 1 appearance, 1 inning, 3 Ks, and a walk back on May the 30th. And Jackson, we got to talk to his dad, Chepo.
Yes.
Pre-game, he came up to our booth. Very nice gentleman.
Yes.
Told us a lot about Diego. Moving back to California. Actually found out, he used to be a two-way player. Coach Johnny Coy's given him some at-bats recently. See if that comes to fruition here this season. But definitely one of the harder throwers that the Mustangs have. And really no pressure on him. His offense has come alive tonight. 10 unanswered runs. And all he really needs to do is just do what he did last Friday night, is throw strikes, as he does right there. And it's an easy ground out from Coy to George to retire Hornschmeyer.
That's exactly what DeSantiago is putting the game to do. Throw those strikes, get them across the zone. The way the defense has been playing these last 2 games has definitely been the predominant factor, helping these bullpens. Collectively, the last 4 innings between Witt and Johnson, no hits allowed against these Renegade hitters. So DeSantiago still trying to prove the point that the bullpen is here to play this season in the MINK.
One of those bullpen arms for the Mustangs that something you don't see. A lot of relief guys just choose to go out of the stretch, but DeSantiago goes from out of the windup and rears back and fires home some fireballs out of that right arm. He quickly has Connor Fleeg down 0-2. Fleeg 0 for 2. He walked his first plate appearance and then grounded out and struck out, and also committed a huge error in the bottom of the 6th. Couldn't handle a line drive. Is right there. DeSantiago catches him looking for the K, but Fleeg took his eyes off the ball, dropped an easy, what should have been a 3rd out, and allowed 2 runs to score. Now Fleeg is now 0 for 3. That's 2 quick outs from DeSantiago.
12th strikeout here for the Mustangs tonight. Have been ringing it by these Renegade hitters. Now bringing up P.J. Green. Walked his last time up. But the last 2 guys, Johnson and DeSantiago, and Witt, those fastballs coming out of those hands, they definitely got some velocity. Sadly, we don't get velocity trackers here to see how fast these guys are throwing, but just from up here, me and you both playing baseball, we know these guys are pumping some heat.
And also for the record, the now Mustangs bullpen consecutive innings scoreless streak has reached 25, and it'll reach 26 as Felix to George retires Green. We're headed to the 8th. Mustangs are playing for 1, looking to send the fans home happy and send them home early. You're watching St. Joseph Mustangs baseball here on YouTube. Bottom of the 8th. Your Mustangs are playing for one. Looking to go home early here. Up 11-2. Plated 3 in the 5th, 2 in the 6th, and 5 in the 7th. Jack Mosh will get him started here in the 8th. Still facing Connor Head, who got the final 2 outs of that 7th inning, but gave up 4 runs in the process. Excuse me, 3 runs in the process. Mosh 1 for 4, had an RBI single in the 5th. Mosh first pitch pop back towards us, but up onto the roof and out of play. Looking at other MINK action around the league. Currently, Sedalia, the Bombers, lead the Chillicothe Mudcats, who come to town tomorrow night, 5-2 in the 9th. As that one sky down the left field line. That'll stay in play for Meyer to retire Mosh for the first out. But Chillicothe comes to town tomorrow. Here to Phil Welch. And the Native Griffins playing the North Missouri Naturals also tonight. It's now Chris Coy. Coy 1 for 3, he singled, and his last time up, he was hit by a pitch and came around to score.
Yeah, Coy, one of the guys on this Mustangs roster that you want to get on base here if you're trying to plate for one. Got that speed, and he's got that smartness around the base paths as well.
Benton High School graduate from a couple weeks ago, committed to the University of Nebraska, Omaha, to take his talents. Nephew of Mustang manager Johnny Coy. It's that one, left center field gap. Green will let it fall in front of him as it's second hit of the night for Coy and a 1-out single to bring up Justin George.
And a good swing there by Coy, really. I mean, just took the inside up pitch off the bat. Not really hard hit, but just blooped in front of Green and Meyer in left center field. Looks like Coy's going over to the dugout to get a quick helmet change. Looks like he has a different running helmet. But Coy on first is that threat that I was talking about. Definitely a guy that can get extra 90 feet easily. Now Justin George coming up to the plate, looking to do some damage to continue on this inning for the Mustangs.
Well, you know, sometimes when an offense is just scorching hot, again, you know, moisture wants to release from the body and, you know, it expands. So, you know, I'm sure Coy's head, you know, as that one from George flared out to shallow left, and that one will also fall in front of Meyer. Back-to-back 1-out hits for the Mustangs. Now the 13th hit of the night for St. Joe. Brings up Parker Griffith. Anyway, talking about moisture, you know, little science class, you know, when it gets cold and the molecules, you know, they want to clump together and they slow down. But then, you know, when it gets warm, they get really excited and they expand. So, you know, this Mustangs offense had cooled off last night, so I'm sure the helmet, you know, fit differently. And then tonight, Mustangs offense has been hot, so we needed a bigger helmet. As Griffith swings to the first pitch, and Bachman able to corral it in foul territory for the second out. Now brings up Truman Bodenhausen, fresh off a 2-run RBI single in the 7th.
Bodenhausen here, looking to end it here. 2 outs on the board, so the Mustangs could either get it done here, or they could go ahead and just get it done in the top of the 9th. We'll have to see here what Bodenhausen decides to do.
I mean, I'd like DeSantiago, watch him come out and continue to throw gas, but, you know, also as a thinking logistically, you know, you don't want to run him out too much, use too many bullets, so Bodenhausen, you know, little base hit. He got a big hole on that right side as Fleeg playing almost behind second base. So there's something to that right side, hard enough, whether on the ground or a line drive with the speed of Coy. Should be able to round and score that 10th run for the run rule.
we go. 3-0 count here for Bodenhausen.
I give him the green light.
Why not?
Why not? Why not? Why not?
Why not?
You got 2 outs. It's again okay. Well, I hope this wouldn't. Who's got some wood? I hope this wouldn't happen. But you never know. The Renegades might explode for 9. We got some wood up here in the booth. So, give a little knock on wood. No green light, unfortunately, or Griffith was just aware enough to not swing.
Now 3-1. Yeah.
Bodenhausen line, center field and down. Green up with it. Here comes Coy. Throw to the plate. Not in time. Ball game from Phil Welch. Truman Bodenhausen with his second run scoring hit of the night. His second hit, it's an RBI walk-off single as Chris Coy scores. And the Mustangs finish off a come-from-behind 12-2 victory to improve to 4-1 and 2-0 in MINK League play. What a swing from Bodenhausen. What a comeback. Mustangs seem dead in the water, just very lethargic, but 11 unanswered runs, 3 in the 5th, 2 in the 6th, 5 in the 7th, and Bodenhausen with a walk-off single in the 8th.
What a win there. Bodenhausen right up the middle, took the down the middle fastball just right. PJ Green got a good jump on it out in center field. But Chris Coy, like I mentioned, that threat on the base paths is really smart, was all gas, no brakes. Third base coach was giving him the sign to go all the way off the bat. And Coy with that speed at the catcher. Miller couldn't get the hand on it. And Bodenhausen's going to walk it off. And down low, Charlie's interviewing our player of the game, who we'll mention here in a second. It will be Mr. Darius Freeman of the game. Had a good game himself. 3 RBIs himself. 3 for 4 in this game. 3 for 5, I might mention. That error does count. 3 for 5 with a triple, 3 RBIs, 2 runs scored and 2 stolen bases. Freeman got it done in every single facet of the game, Truman, and you just love to see it with a guy like Freeman.
Yeah, Freeman 3 for 5. He had a triple, 3 RBIs, reached base 4 times, also scored a pair of runs and had 2 stolen bases. Bronco Witt gets the win, 1-0. Gets the win, now improves to 1-0. And Carson Rustemeyer will take the loss for the Renegades, but what a night for your St. Joseph Mustangs. As we'll take a short break and come back with your St. Joseph Mustangs post-game show here on YouTube. We now welcome you inside our booth here, fresh off a St. Joseph Mustangs dominating 12-2 victory. Their second MINK League game to improve to 4-1 and 2-0 in the MINK. Truman Griessel, my partner Jackson Phelps. And Jackson, early part of the game looked like last night. The Mustangs came out a little slow, but the pitching just continues to just carry them, and it allowed time for the offense to finally get something going. And then when it did, it came in bunches.
It really did. A slow start on the bats, like you mentioned, Truman, again, gave shades of last night. But you know what I liked what you mentioned, the pitching. The bullpen has been such a predominant factor here. And unlike last night, the guys from the bullpen got those guys juice in the field to go produce those runs in small ways. In the fifth, we saw it. It started out with a bunch of small ball. I mean, stolen bases, passed balls, got them around. Lots of RBIs being scored in many ways. Manufacturing runs, like you've been mentioning all season long, these Mustangs have been doing. We've gotten the treat to see how these Mustangs have been playing baseball. I mean, it is a special way. It gives flashes of our favorite team, the 2015 Royals. We've seen some plays like tonight that reminded us of that, but this Mustangs win was amazing. You know, after last night, a tough loss in a non-league game, you go back to the MINK League, get another run rule game in the MINK, and now you're sitting 2-0 with a tough Mudcats team coming to play here tomorrow.
Yeah, Chillicothe comes to town tomorrow, but you brought it up. These Mustangs, you know, the power hasn't there yet. Only a handful of extra base hits, no homers yet for this team, but they just do it the small ball way. They get on, whether that's a walk, a hit by pitch, a single, and then once those guys get on base, they get on base on bunches. They're able to move them over. The Mustangs, I think, again, talk about the bullpen, 25 consecutive innings scoreless streak. That'll go into tomorrow. Keep watching that throughout the rest of this season. But the biggest strength, I think, of this team is their base running.
Yes.
When they want to take bases that it's extra 90 feet, they will.
Yeah.
And then that just puts so much pressure on the opposing team's defense to then have to cope and have to think on the fly. And the Mustangs are winning that battle right now on the bases and in the mind.
I like what you mentioned there, the mind. I mean, it is really a big thing in this game of baseball to get inside the pitcher's head. And, you know, these pitchers are given looks at first base, second base. I mean, last night didn't go the way of Jack Mosh, but here today, we've seen double steals coming off the rip every single time. We've seen extra 90 bases being taken to home. I mean, the guys are just really confident, and they're really comfortable on the base paths, and you love to see that on a team. How Chris Coy on the single was all gas, no brakes. We saw that many times tonight, rounding second. These guys weren't stopping. They're not hesitating. You'd love to see that in a team who just has a sense of comfortability on the base paths. You know, they love being there. That's where they know they're going to score runs. And that's how the Mustangs tonight won by 9 runs tonight, Truman.
Confident and aggressive is your Mustangs. Well, that'll do it for us here tonight. My partner, Jackson Phelps, Truman Griessel. Final score, your Mustangs 12, the Jefferson City Renegades 2. Tune in tomorrow night, 7 o'clock, first pitch. They welcome the Chillicothe Mudcats to town as we thank our hardworking crew behind the scenes, Aiden and Ryler. You know, you don't see them, but they are here, our wonderful production crew. All Mustangs live streams are archived on the St. Joseph Mustangs YouTube app under the Live tab. You can go back and watch all your favorite Mustangs games. But that'll do it. Mustangs 12, Renegades 2.